Would you like to play City Skylines without highways? Do you get excited about railroads? In this episode of the Less Traffic Livestream, I'll show you how to build cities before highways and railroads with realistic grades. So we're here in our city of Puerto del Mar. It's supposed to be based on the idea of a West Coast city, like Los Angeles or San Francisco, probably more like Los Angeles or San Diego actually, where we've got a lot of mountains all the way around our city here and good amount of sea connections here, but not a whole lot in the way of land connections, at least not easy stuff yet. So we have no rail, no highway connections, just these two seaports right here, the harbor and the cargo harbor to start off with. The only thing I did off camera here since last episode, is I went through and I named the streets, so it's a little more meaningful experience. So we've got a few goals today. First, we really need to reconfigure this port because it's going to be really impractical as the city gets bigger. Also because I would like to add rail. As was advertised, we're going to add rail and we're going to run it up through a couple of valleys. I'm going to get to that in just a second here. We also need to rebuild the park right over here. We've got a park that's more of a university campus at the moment. Our trade school is over here, and we're going to move that. We're going to move that over here. We're going to build that area up. And if we have time, we might build some fishing industry, which will be fun. I haven't played with the Sunset Harbor update yet, so we'll get around to doing that. All right, so let's start off and get this trade school moved real quick, just so it's out of the way. This area over here looks pretty good. Got to get that area out of there so we can build up a park in the middle of town and be able to expand around the trade school. So I worked out some dimensions here that should work out pretty nicely for this. Let's see here. I need to locate the center here. I'm gonna get the get my gravel roads here out and see at a 45-degree angle there. And a 45 here. That should give us our center. Let's go ahead and do that as well. I'm just gonna go a little crazy here. I gotta get this. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I don't like to have wacky angles if I can help it. So there. And there. Alright, so that should allow us to get a perfect line right up the middle right here. Alright, and other thing that'll allow us to do first. Might as well while I have it here. I'm just going to make a nice straight road right there. Get rid of one of those segments. And the first thing I'll do... Whoops. Just realized I don't want... Whoa. Yes, that's great. Don't want to lose that center point, so I'm going to put a marker road right there too. Alright, so let's go get the Trade School Administration building. The reason why I'm doing all this, I'm going to turn anarchy on here. Oh, I forgot, I got to move my campus area first. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want this to be a little semicircle here, and I want the main building to be centered right in the middle, right there. So, let's see. Alright, so Campos del Mar, or the Field of the Sea, something along those lines. So, I'm going to just fill this whole area in here. It doesn't matter if it's extra big. We can shrink it down later. And I'm going to move the trade school administration building over here. There we go. And we're going to change the name of this from Campos del Mar to, let's call it the Pacific Technical, yeah, let's call it the Pacific Technical Institute, yeah, that's what we'll call it. Alright, and if you're not familiar with the campus DLC, you need to have 2 academic works. We've gotten those without having to fund any of them. So we've got the first 2, which will help us get from unrecognized to recognized. The thing we're missing is campus attractiveness. We don't have a very attractive campus, and that's because I haven't actually built one. So that's what I'm trying to rectify right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that, and we will come out with back to our 2-lane road tool, and we'll do a curved road. And, oh, this is, I think I might have made a mistake. No, I am making a mistake. I need to be right here. Here we go. Now that makes more sense. So now I have a nice, perfect half circle right here. Or at least that's what I'm supposed to have. And I'll just do this backwards here. Make it a one-way. This will get the street lights all running in the same direction right here. I want them running... let's have them run around. Yeah. Let's have them run around this direction. So that way, if we ever do need to make this a one-way, which I sort of doubt, it's not really going to be on the way to anything, then the road's running the same direction. Alright, now we can get rid of these guide roads here. Alright, so now I've got my nice perfect little center right there. We'll dress that up in a bit. Now I need to move over the other buildings. First off, that's our police academy. Let's relocate that right here. And get rid of that guy. And let's move this dormitory over here. Whoops. We'll just put the dormitories right over here right now. Just so they're out of the way. Let's have bigger plans for that area. We'll keep it all out of the middle here for the moment. Yeah, we'll just put that there. Okay, so now that I've got all the trade school university stuff out of there, let's get rid of that and neaten that up a little bit, because I want to build a park over here after I get a few other things. Alright, so I'm going to put my park back in. This will allow us to get our Campos del Mar back. Alright. And, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have to deal with that in a bit too here. So, alright, so let's work on this a little bit. Let's flesh this out just a teeny bit. I don't need to build the whole thing right now, but I am going to go ahead and get a good amount of it built. Let me see. I need a road coming out right here. That's almost a 90-degree angle, which is going to look kind of nice. And then I need another one right here. And let's extend that. Alright, so now here's the reason why I built this other thing. I'm all about sight lines. I love having sight lines here. So let's extend this road out a bit. Probably didn't need to build the whole thing. Alright. So now we're going to build this out here. And it'll line up nicely right there. I need a guide road here. And I messed up. I do need some of that, don't I? Build another guide road. Let me turn the bending off. Alright. 12 units right there. Build another guide road. Units. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Stick a guide road right there. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and curve that through, and I'll just extend this another 12 units right here. Alright. Now I've got a road that will line up perfectly. You just bring it on another 12 units. I'll show you what I'm up to here. So when I build this campus up, what'll be really cool is this road will come in and you'll get a perfect view looking straight up at that dome in the middle of that building and right up at downtown right over here. That's going to look super cool. And if you're here at the campus, then you'll be able to look over downtown from there too. So it'll look really, really cool when it's all done. Hopefully we'll be able to finish that today. We'll get a lot done on it. All right, so now let's work on the attractiveness so that I end up getting credit for that at the end of the next year. So each of these campus buildings, let's go to our trade school campus. Each of these has an amount of attractiveness that it will add to the campus area. I don't know if it's really clearly noted on any of the buildings. It doesn't look like it is. But either way, we're just going to go ahead and build some of this stuff here. Let's see here. So, for starters, like I said, sight lines are the coolest. Let's get... let's find our trade school path. Here we go. Alright, so we'll build right in there. Nice, nifty little path that goes all the way to the street here. And let's see, let's put the... Where is the fountain? Fountain right here. And we'll build a couple of fountains. Right here, right across from each other. It should help a little bit with the attractiveness. Aha, okay, that's good. Alright, so let's move on from there. But here's the idea of what I'm doing with this road, which, by the way, I've called it Laguna Boulevard, because it's going to eventually... Let's turn on the terrain map here. It's going to eventually go down through this whole valley here, and there's another valley right here with a little bit of a mountain in the middle here. I'm getting an autosave. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. So if you're just joining us, this is the Less Traffic Livestream. We are building Puerto del Mar, which is a city that has absolutely no land access. It's all done to the two ports right here. And we've got about 12,500 sims. Anyway, so back to what we were just talking about. We're going to build this Laguna Boulevard right here. It's going to go all the way out here to this area, which is basically just a big giant lagoon. And we're going to have another little town out here, probably some industrial area. Not only is this road going to go out here, though, but this is really the best way to get a rail line through here. So that's going to be the site of our first rail line. We're going to build that actually before we build the road. Now, the idea with the rail line is that it's going to go. Well, first let me show you how the grades work here. I forget the name of the mod, but this is the mod that lets you get more control over your terrain. If you use the level terrain mod, then you can basically take a reading of how flat, what level each bit of terrain is. So this area over here where most of the city is about 83, 84 meters high, and then some of this is actually getting up into the 90s. If we go up over here to the top of this mountain, we're way over 200 meters. So this is a rather steep bit of terrain right here. If you've ever seen a railroad track, you've probably noticed that it doesn't go uphill. So trains don't like grades. Unfortunately, City Skylines lets you build trains at whatever grade you want, practically. So we're going to build something with a realistic grade. And when you look at this map, it's kind of hard to see the terrain since it's broad daylight right now, but basically this valley is really, really an easy grade to get across. It only goes up in the 90s from about 83 down here at the shoreline, or 82. So we could build a nice cargo hub down here and have a rail line that goes out over here to the lagoon area, and we can connect these two areas, this area here over here on the lagoon to Puerto del Mar. Now the other cool thing about this area is if we build the rail line out along this lagoon, and we sort of hug the shoreline right here, we can gain a little bit of elevation to get up to, well, it doesn't even look like we'll need to gain elevation. We can keep elevation there, and then, where is it? We need to build a tunnel. This is it. Right over here. So at 92, 94 meters, somewhere in there, we're going to build a tunnel through this area here because it's really, really high, and pop out over here on the other side. And we'll be able to keep on going off to the edge of the map, which is the goal here. We want to be able to build a rail line that will connect into Puerto del Mar from the edge of the map, give us our first land connection so that, more people can get here and more things can get here and out, for that matter, because we're going to build up our industry too. All right, so let's first off see what we can do. Well, you know what? Why don't we just start building that rail line right in here? It looks like we should probably start over here, since this is going to be the tricky part. All right, so there's actually a really good video out there on this that I can't think of his name. I think it starts with an A. I could be completely wrong. I think he's got a few dozen thousand subscribers. He's not 100,000 yet, but I got to look it up, and I'll put it in the description. But he's got a really great video on railroad grading, and he actually explains with all the math, uses spreadsheets and everything, how to get a really nice grade with railroads. I'm going to link to some of those in the description here after the video's over. So go check those out, because it'll help you if you want to get realistic grades. He explains it better than I'm going to explain it here. But basically, we want to get an idea of the lay of the land. This map is actually pretty easy because it looks like we're about at 92 meters on both sides. Now the trick is keeping it from gaining too much elevation on the other side right away. It looks like we've got a plateau right here. I'm not sure if I want to run it by the water. I suppose I could. Yeah, it'll probably have to run along the water, along the edge of this plateau, and then into the tunnel right there. So if we built this tunnel first, that should actually make it a lot easier for us to build the rest of the line. So let's get the Let's find our rail. Oh, I have to build a station first. Well, I'll just lay a station down over here and turn it off in Puerto del Mar. No idea if that's where I'm going to actually keep it. Now, I want to make sure I don't spend a bunch of money on that while I'm building. So, and I've got about $2 million in the bank. That's going to help. Turn my lines back on here. Oh, I lost him again. Here we go. Alright, so I want a tunnel. Keeps losing the lines. Alright. So, if we build this tunnel straight across, how will that work? Alright, so that should do a pretty good job. And we want to make sure we hit the straight slope checkbox on this. And usually you want to make your tunnels so they're not too long, because that's the way they built tunnels. They didn't make them as long as they could, and they didn't use them everywhere. They only used them where they absolutely needed them. Alright. Now, if we really wanted to know how flat that is, we could convert it all over to ground. I'm just going to trust it. That's a good start. Now, it's going to start costing us money, unfortunately, but that's okay. Alright. So we've got our tunnel entrance on both sides here. Now I want to go back to ground, and I like to lay these out using my gravel roads. Let's see here. Oops. Turn my lines back on. And turn anarchy on. Alright, so how high is that area? 94, 92. Okay, we're good there. Alright, so we're probably going to have to build a bridge over here, because another thing that trains hate is curves. So if we tried to curve around here, then the train has to slow down big time to go around. That's another thing that our other YouTuber... Man, I really wish I would have looked him up. I'm sorry about that. We're going to go right around here and hug that line and then build it right into that valley. Okay, so probably going to need to... Let's see, how high is this over here? About 92. That's 95. Alright, so let's see if we can level this out some. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to switch over to my slope tool. I'm going to slope the terrain from the tunnel entrance . So this actually should work pretty well. And we're just going to build it across from there. Alright, so let's see how much of a curve we're going to need here. Not too bad a one. That ought to do. Oh, I'm going to need to pause it now in case there's water backing up over there. Alright, so now make sure I have my straight slope turned on. And about 96. Yeah, let's go 84. Now the idea is you want to do the math if you can. I'm not going to take the time to do it here because it's a live stream. But we want to have the grade be very, very, very slight. Usually 1%, 2%. 2% is actually a pretty high. For those of you who don't understand how grades work, basically it's if you're going up 1 foot over 100 feet, then that's a 1% grade because you're going up 1% of the amount of ground you're covering. So you want, for a rail, you really want to have very, very level slopes as much as possible because trains really hate grades. Pulling all that big, heavy stuff up, it's just not going to work if you're going to go up too fast. City Skylines, of course, lets you get away with it, but we're not going to do that. All right, so sort of looks like maybe I should consider I'm gonna do this here. I think that's gonna get me a better curve radius just a little bit here. This is really unscientific the way I'm doing this. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna build this bridge up in here. That should be pretty good. Okay. Now I want bridge units right here. 52, that's kind of weird, but I think I'll go with it. It's a nice even number. So that gets us our bridge right across that area. It looks like it's level. Alright, so now let's build this. I don't want bridge. We can unpause the game. Shouldn't have demolished as much of that. Let me put that back in here. This will give me a good guide so I don't drop the slope too fast here. I think it, yeah, it's straight. Okay. All right. Alright, so I'm trying to get part of my radius right here. Far off is that? That's not too bad. I'll take that. Okay. So I think this is probably the hardest part right here. I'm not really in love with how sharp that is, but we'll live with it. All right, so now let us build another curve here, and we'll try to line it up as best we can. It looks like that's probably about right there. Now we can connect the tunnel. Oh, not perfect. What's up with that? Alright, let me demolish that, and we'll go up to 60 and rebuild that curve. There we go. Alright, so now we've gone through the tunnel, across the lagoon, and now all we have to do is build this down through here, which should be pretty easy. And we have to build this over here, which will be a little less easy. Let's take a look at questions that we've got so far. Yeah, Acruus. Thanks so much, Conscript David. That is exactly the YouTuber I was talking about. I think it's Acruus. Or Acruus. I don't know how he says it. I'm not really sure. Let me switch over here and check out the chat window. Be great if, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just pause that right there. Okay, let's hear. Hey. So catch up to where we started here. I got lost off this game. This is Elric. I got lost off on this game the other night after the video. Must have been playing for a good few hours. Looked at the clock and it was midnight. Boy, have I had that happen. Let's see here. You should leave that forest in. It fits so well in the middle of that semicircle. You know what? I think that might happen, actually, David. Aki Immortal. Hello, everyone. Road to 10,000. Let's go. Yeah. Conscript David. God, this game needs a planning mode so much. Yes, it sure does. I would really love that. Maybe somebody will make a mod. Yeah. Yeah, Anarchy is on. Gail, thanks for coming. Glad to see you. Immortal, does anyone know if it's possible to increase the limits for maximum number of people using public transport, maximum number of vehicles, and possibly many I don't even know about, like with a mod or changing some numbers without destroying the game? Yeah, I think improved public transport might help. I don't know. Let me know if you've ever tried that one. I think it's improved public transport is a mod that you can try. But I'm not really sure. Maximum number of vehicles. There is actually another one that will increase the agent limit. I have not messed with it much, and when I did mess with it, I didn't really find it made a huge difference. Although I don't have a city with like 1 million people or anything in it. Let me just scroll down here again. What did I miss? Just building some railroads. Morning from Sydney. Morning to you too, Gail. Is Lee talking about grading, and he's talking about grading, and he explained his plan beyond relocating a campus to have better sight lines. I'm at work, so I can't stay. Hey, thanks for coming, Grey Wolf 68. I really appreciate it. Immortal, with my biggest city, 500,000, I hit the limit for number of public transport lines. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you might have to combine some. That might be the only way around it. I wanted to build another helicopter line, and it wasn't possible. Yeah, I've never even tried the helicopters before. That sounds interesting. There's someone who broke 10% population using public transportation. I don't know. It probably would require 10% of population to actually be on the train in the first place, or on the bus anyway. And thanks so much, Immortal, Aki Immortal, for asking for the likes. I really appreciate that. So thanks for helping me out with the algorithm. Conscript David, is the video? Yes, I already answered that one. For small cities, yeah. It looks like it definitely goes down quite a bit as the city gets bigger, which is a bummer because usually bigger cities have worse traffic, which is something that isn't really going to help a whole lot. Let's see here. It sucks because it's not that realistic, no kidding. Aki Immortal. That's why I asked about game limits, but I totally agree. If you're going to build the perfect public transport system, it doesn't get rewarded. Yeah, I have had that problem before. Another thing you might want to try, Aki Immortal, is to use Traffic Manager President Edition and just clear all the traffic. Sometimes I find that gives a lot better. It gives a lot better usage. Hey, how come I'm saving? Let's see here. Let's go back over here. So we've made it this far. Not real far, but we've made it through the hardest part. I like public transport in-game brings money with tourists by increasing land value. And just residential can't really pay for itself unless you gimp it on purpose. Residents can only get to work via public transport. Yeah, you know, I've actually had a lot of success with public transportation, and I'm looking forward to getting into that. I might even introduce buses a little bit in here and put that in if we have time. Let's see. Sometimes for monorail, buses, or even metro, small losses, trains, and other big losses. Yes, I've actually had metros be incredibly profitable, as well as buses, depending on the city and the system. Trains, it seems like, just cost way too much. I don't understand that. Trains don't get used. If you build a metro system, that metro line that covers the same ground as the train line, well, then you're in trouble. It seems like the trains don't get used after that, even if they're way, way faster than the metro, you know, because there's no stops where you have with the metro line. I've not really messed with monorail much. Cargo trains make money with industry because exports go through them. I've found cargo trains to be an excellent use of transit funds. That's one of the things I want to show in this series too. Airports haven't done that so much. I don't even honestly build airports most of the time, and I get tons of transit use, whether I build an airport or not. 6 tops, 1,500 users. Hey, not bad. What do you think is the best public transportation? I would have to say the metro. Tram is pretty cool. Buses are obviously a good one, but not something you're going to rely on too heavily. Let's see here. Yeah, I think metro is definitely, I agree with you, Usario. Yeah, Usario 1. I definitely agree with you on metro. A combination of at least 3 different ones with different tasks. I like trams too. That's here. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, I really appreciate that, P-Man. Federico Falconieri. Awesome timing from Europe. Oh, hey, I'm glad to hear that. I probably need to do a later one for people in my own time zone, though. That might be a good idea, right? How do you determine where to start and end a public transport route? Well, we'll cover that later on. But a lot of it has to do with, it just has to do with the way your city is laid out in a lot of cases and how your roads work. Can you decrease the game volume a little bit, please? It's harder to hear your voice than it needs to be. Let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm sorry about that. Audio main volume. Let's go down to 15. All right. Hopefully you can hear me a little better now. Let me know. You need to connect people with work zones. That's true. Do people try to work in their own district? That's not necessarily the case, but it helps if you have work in their own district because then they can walk in a lot of cases. Let's see here. I think you need to collect residentials to bring them to commercial and industry and back. That's basically the way it works. Aki Immortal. Okay, so let's go back to building the railroad here. Let's get this thing knocked out so we can start working on the port. So let's go ahead and build this to the edge of the map here. All right, so first thing we need to do, let's just get an idea of where this thing needs to go first. Looks like we're going to need a curve pretty soon out here. Now I don't want to build this at the very bottom all the way through here. And a lot of that's just because if you've ever been out west, you know that when it rains, it always floods in the bottom. So, whoops. Let me get my lines back here. Right there. So this is how I basically plan things out here. All right, so now at this point, I would feel safer going towards the bottom. All right, so let's see what my elevations are here. We got 94, about 94 there, a little less than 94, 96, and then about 92. All right, so need to add, I need to, let's set this at, not quite, yeah, let's do that. Actually, no, let's go with 94. All right, it does not look like it's very straight here, so. All right, so now a little hack I will share too is that when you're using this mod, it does a really cool thing with, well, actually, I think in general in City Skylines, this the terrain shaping will work whether you the terrain shaping will work underneath and around the network, whether, you know, it actually shows up that way. It doesn't move the network itself, but if you demolish it, you'll see some nice level terrain. All right, so build that, level that out some, and we'll level this too. Okay. So let's see. Hopefully, I did a decent job here. If I hold down the Alt key, Precision Engineering should tell me. Okay, here we go. So we got 36 units here. Is that right? All right, so 36 units. Must be too far there. How many units there? 48. All right, so let's go down out 12 more here. That'll give me a nice even curve. All right. Switch to rail. It's a fairly gentle curve. Nice flat terrain right there. Now I need to go around this bend. Oh, I need to turn anarchy off. Hopefully that'll neatify a little bit here. Let me just rebuild that since it's easy at the moment. As I continue on, I might not be able to find where I left off. Doesn't want to use... And sometimes this mod will actually make it... will actually unstraight slope itself, which I don't really want. Alright, so now we've gotten rid of the trees. Alright, so let's see. How far is this segment? 34. And probably could just make that one big curve. Now, I sort of need a spot where the train will straighten out for a little bit. So I'm actually just going to build a straight section right here, because I don't want the train to have to go straight from one curve and into another in the opposite direction. A little too jarring. Alright, so let's see if I can perhaps build a curve right here. That looks good. Turn anarchy, road anarchy back on. Alright. Hopefully that's nice and straight. Looks good so far. All right, now our last stretch to the edge. Do not flatten this part out here, so let's just widen that out there. And do a straight section right here. All right. Now I can just go straight off to the border. Sort of. Now, it doesn't let you keep things straight out here like I wish it did. And in reality, that's probably going to go up, up, up a whole lot over the course of its run there, but we're just going to do the best we can here and eyeball this. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so now here's the other problem we have. When we get to the edge of the map. Sometimes our outside connection mod does not necessarily pop up with a connection. That would be a problem. I'm not really sure if it's working or not. I can't tell. Let me see if I have a mod installed. Got a cloud and fog toggler mod here. Yeah, okay, good. Turn off the clouds, distant... Oh, the edge fog, that's what I need. I'm going to turn the clouds off because it's nice to be able to see. Okay, that makes it so much easier to see. Now, are we getting... Oh, cool. There we go. All right, so now we have our outside connection. And we've got a nice flat rail all the way in through the hard part. Now all we have to do is connect all this easy stuff. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the chat window here for a second here. Just gotta scroll back here. All right, just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, is it better there for you, Trevor? I hope so. Aki Immortal, for example, I have 1 on tile, 8 bus collector routes, 2 metros, circle route, and 1 train to bring them to the next tile. Sounds interesting. Michael Bernard, first time catching one of your streams. Enjoyed lots of your older videos. Where are you from? I am from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, a suburb on the west side. And I say west side because if you know Cleveland, well, you know that it matters. Aki Immortal, thanks for reading and answering our questions. We really appreciate it. But now, back to their game. One question. What are you doing right now? I never chat so much. I usually lurk. So I've built us a rail line that is going to connect over here, and I'm going to connect it down into our port area where I'm going to build a cargo hub. We're going to reconfigure that port and probably build some more rail to go along the shore over here. But right now I need to get some kind of connection into Laguna here, which is going to be the name of the little village that I'm going to have. It's just going to pop up because it's on the water and next to the rail line. Let's see. I have to say Transport Fever 2 has some great train building tools, including auto grading, turn radiuses, and terrain sculpting. That would be really cool. I wish they had that in City Skylines, but it's a bummer. Yeah, janky. That stinks. Yeah. Aki Immortal. Sounds interesting, but not my cup of tea. Don't talk about trains. I hate them. I had to delete whole cities because of cargo trains. Now I build with one-way train segments and it works better. Yeah, that can help. In my new city, my whole train network is underground. Yeah, I've built some tunnels. I just built one right here, but I usually like to build them above ground because it's fun to see the trains. I think you'll find there are ways of managing the train traffic, and we're going to give it our best shot at least here. Let's see here. Trevor Price, almost perfect. Thanks once again. Good, good, good. Oh, hi from Cincinnati. Hi from the other side of 71. Cleveland rocks. Yes, it does. Nikolai. Hi, Lee. How are you doing, Nikolai? It's good to have you. All right, so let's get this thing built down through this valley. So we have a lot of, what is that, ore or oil? I'm not really sure. We've got some industrial stuff over here that we can pull out of the ground. I'd really like to take advantage of that, so I'm probably going to run this rail line right through here. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Put 240 units out here. All right, so that will be our rail line going into that area for now. I want to have the shortest route take us right into this valley here, so it looks like I have to thread a little bit through here. All right, so now let me make sure I get my grades right, because I don't want to add too much grade too fast. So to get down here by the port, I'm going to have to be around 83 meters in elevation. And just to get up here, I need to be at 92. So I'm probably going to take advantage of this wash or whatever right here. I think the original map had a highway running through here that was trenched. We might just trench our railroad a little bit through there. Looks like I'm up to 92 over here. And a little over 92. Okay. So that's pretty doable grade. Let's try building some roads through here. So I think I want this to come out about there. All right, I want to make sure I get a straight slope here. Now, I'm just trying to gauge how useful or necessary that trench is going to be, and it looks like it's going to be pretty necessary. All right, so let's work our way into that trench then. Probably have to run the line out here. 86, 83. So 86 is going to be around there. We're going to try to keep this realistic just in case they ever introduce... some sort of... drainage mod or DLC or something like that. Alright, I'm going to just level... Whoops. I guess the point I'm looking for is over here. I want that to be pretty much level all the way across. Just so I can get a guide as to where on the trench I need to be. Looks like right about there we can do it. And I want to make sure I'm not going to bury this thing. All right. Well, that's not what I want at all. Hit the home key. There we go. Nice and flat. Just like the trains like them. Alright, so at this point... got an autosave here. Let's see here. What do we have in the chat window here? Hi from Milford, Connecticut. Hey, Connecticut. Good to have New England on. Why aren't you playing the city as always you did before? Oh, planning the city? Well, I am kind of planning the city because I want to make sure the rail line has some place to go before I have nowhere to put it. I don't know if that answers your question. I think he's freestyling to have more freedom and try out stuff compared to a city where every video and part of the city has been planned and double checked. Yes, that is very true. The other series, I script the snot out of it. So it is a lot different from what you're going to see on here. This is more freestyle. The next More Money, Less Traffic series will probably be more like this. Although, you know, still probably scripted. All right, hit that home button here, home key. And let's get to... Let's try there and see if that makes any sense. Oh, yeah, it didn't level like it's supposed to. Okay, I should be at 88 from the looks. So let me build another straight road across over here. I'd have to redo that section anyway. So straighten this. Whoops, too much. There we go. Level that out. That should do. And we'll build the rail on here this time. I'm gonna. All right. So sometimes just to get that to go straight every time is you have to just uncheck it and check it again. That is a nice channel grade. Okay. Now I need to bring it back. I should be able to do that without too much trouble here. Get my lines back here. That looks a little steep. Actually, I'm gonna go back here a little bit further to get that. Oops. Oh, hey, let's see. Nope, we did not increase in reputation on our trade school. Let's see why. Usually it's a lack of students. And I'm going to explain how the students here work in a minute. No, we have enough. No, we don't have any students. How did that happen? Why do we not have any students? Huh. Okay, so in order to get more students going here, I'm going to go to my policies and turn on Education Boost. Education Boost gives a boost to the number of people, a number of Sims who graduate high school. They can decide to either go get jobs or they can decide to go to university. If you turn on Education Boost, they're more likely to go to university. So hopefully that'll boost my enrollment enough here. Oh, I know why. The reason why there's no students there is because I don't actually have a tech school. I forgot the water. Now, how come you guys didn't tell me? Just kidding. All right, let's add some water here. All right, here we go. Oh, well, it's underground. Nobody's going to see it, right? All right. We probably would have had everything we wanted on that had I actually put some water in there. What do you know? All right. so back to the railroad. Okay, so I need to get this grade over here solved. And I need it to... Well, let me go to... let me do that. Toggle it back and forth so I get a straight slope this time. Should be good if I put it out here. Let's see how straight. Okay. I'm thinking that that's gonna work. That doesn't look steep at all. Shouldn't be. It does cross the wash here, but whatever. I'll build a bridge over there if I have to. Alright, so... just demolish that road. I think that got rid of most of it. Hopefully I demolished the right thing. Okay. Now, the bummer is there's no streetlights on a railroad. Okay. So where do we cross? Turn anarchy off so it's a little easier to see. Okay. So 60-degree angle isn't really ideal here. Let's go with... How long is that anyway? 140. Let's go with 144. Alright, and... Now, some of the way, some of this is planned out better than I might be letting on. I just want to let you know that. So, I'll explain in a minute here. Let me go back one more here. Alright, so I'm going to get a nice, gentle... Oh, you know what? That's my problem right there. Turn on anarchy. Since this is my main line, let's just go with about 25. Seems like about 25 degrees. You can get away with it and you don't end up with the catenaries. Yeah, I'm still having a problem with that. Oh well, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. The catenaries don't look perfect. They get in the way of the trains. Alright, so I've got my line all the way in. Since that's actually going to be a siding, I should probably... we'll leave it go. But technically I should probably have that, since that's going to be more my main line, go all the way around. I'm probably going to end up splitting this into a parallel rail right here anyway, because I want to separate my passenger and my freight traffic, so that they don't end up running on the same line, because it ends up causing all sorts of problems. For now, though, I'm just going to be happy to have rail that goes into my city, which I should have right here, yeah. Okay, so I would say that that's pretty close. So to start off, we need to figure out how to get this into Laguna Harbor. I mean, into our port here. All right, so that's going to require us reconfiguring our port, which is going to cost us quite a bit of industrial base over here, which I'm not really fond of doing unless I have industrial to replace it. So what I think I might do, yeah, I think I might just do that. So let's just build a temporary access point here. That'll get us close enough. And we'll perfect this later on. All right, so we got 84 should do. Okay, should be pretty flat. All right, so now let's find a spot where we can afford to have the freight traffic. We're gonna need our bulldozer, I think. What on earth is that? Oh, it's my warehouse. Oh, I can move that. I'm gonna move that over here right now. And I'm going to extend. We'll get back to working on this later. Right now, I just need a cargo terminal. So I can go work on some other stuff here. And we'll build the worst curves ever for trains. It'll do the trick. All right, so now I should have another way to get trains in here. Hopefully they will spawn. But the point here is that it's a nice flat grade. Let's see if we've got anybody collecting. Speed up the clock a little bit. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Sometimes it takes a while for it to spawn. So we'll just move on. We'll leave this go and we'll move on. Where's the rest of my city? Here we go. And we'll just tolerate this really lousy connection right here for the moment. Because I don't want to have to reconfigure all of this yet. I'm probably going to build industrial somewhere else, but I need to expand my city. And part of that is going to come from over here. Let's see here. Probably add some industry over here off of Laguna Boulevard. Kind of, okay, we got some farm area through here. So let's first fix this name here really quick. All right. Let's expand our city a little bit here. Put the trees in here now, since we're going to build over here. Put the trees over here too. Okay. This should be a nice hot neighborhood for people to move into, and it looks like we need people to move in because we have a lot of residential demand. It usually means our unemployment is low, and it is. 3% is really, really low. So let's increase this. One of the things I wanted to change over here was I actually want to build that street through because I'm crazy like that. I just thought it seemed more realistic this way. Yeah, okay, we're good there. All right, so let's see here. How do we want to configure this neighborhood? Well, let's build this street. Yeah, let's go 30 here. And we'll go out 24 here. How far is it here? 20, 32. And then that's 12. All right, so let's go 20. And we'll make that, give that some nice symmetry right here. And we'll build 24 across here. Maybe we'll build a park or something in the middle of this. Might be a good place for one. We'll build something over there. Okay, and I don't know if we want to do the industry thing here or not. Let's put some symmetry in this neighborhood too. We'll put 20 out here. And 12. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Alright, so 35 there. 22, whoops. Yeah, that works out really nice. I am making this up as I go right here. If you haven't already guessed. Alright, so let's add some more real estate over here. I don't think I'm going to put industrial over here. It's just too nice of a neighborhood to interrupt the character. So probably put some industrial over here though, which will be pretty slick. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Yeah. About 12. And we'll do the same thing over here. How far out are we here? Just put that as a placeholder there. And I'll build another street right here. Now, the funny thing about a lot of cities is they didn't always develop in a very, or they developed very organically. Somebody said, hey, I think I should put a street right here. And nobody argued with them because he owned the land, right? Why would you argue with that? So I'm going to build this 10 units there. And then I have to figure this out here. Yeah, you know, maybe we'll do that. That's not exactly what I had in mind here. All right, let's turn off the lines right there. Okay. Turn them back on. Yeah, that's what I want, right there. Alright, so that gives me some symmetry. And it helps me, gives me access to that last bit of land right there. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's not terrible. And I'm going to build a path that goes into this corner right here at Portland and Laguna. So that will connect this neighborhood. At least that's the idea. Yeah, okay, we're good there. Probably have some commercial along this area here. Alright, so let's get some water in here. And I'm auto-saving. Let me see what you got here. No. Oh, sorry. I'll turn off the day-night cycle if it gets really bad. I was hoping the nights would not last so long. I did make them long. I can speed that up. Alright. I'm just going to throw in some water pipes here. I like to run mine underneath the street. I don't know what you guys like. Oh, looks like I made a mistake again. I'm good at that. Whoops. Details, details. We just need to get some people moving in here. All right. Let's throw in some housing here. Those people are gonna have a noisy existence. Oh well. We're just going to fill this all in with residential for the moment. We'll really redevelop it later. I guess I did kind of do this the slow way, didn't I? Don't want it in here, though. Okay. Okay, we'll let that roll for a while. Let me check and be sure that my roads, stop signs on the connected roads here. All right, so let's let that fill in and we'll come back to it. Hopefully there'll be some decent growth going on in here. So let's work on the park. Let's see. Let's work on the park in a second here. I'm gonna take a look at the chat window here. Can someone tell me what is the name of the mod that is showing height lines when you're building? That is the what is the name of that mod? There's a couple of them out there. Topographical lines toggle is one of them. I think Toggle It is what I'm using right now. So that's the name of the mod. Let's see here. Andrew the Traveler. Yes, he answered that. Might I suggest New City as another city builder to try? It is one that seems to be made specifically as a contra to City Skylines and focuses much more on the realness of city building. You know, I want to check that out. I just saw a video from Sam Burr about that, and I haven't actually gotten a chance to watch the video yet. And yes, Philippe, I am doing curves. Transit-oriented development. That sounds like music to my ears. All right, so we've got a little neighborhood going on over here. Hopefully it will fill in. Let's see what our education looks like. Make sure, oh, we need more university spots here, don't we? High schools, probably could use another high school here as we get bigger. I'm gonna build a high school over on this side of town, I think, yeah. I'm just gonna slap it in. I'm gonna slap it in right here. That'll make that neighborhood look a little more attractive. Okay, so we need to put more into our university here so we have enough capacity for our city. that's not what I'm looking for. I want this. Okay, so let's flesh this out a little bit. First off, let's build our School of Engineering. Put that right here. And let's build that ring road around the outside here too. Sort of a shortcut road. Got some notes here on how to build it, so I'm not sitting here driving you guys crazy, getting all the details perfect. All right, so 18 there. 44 here. And then connect that. Oh, I forgot to get that last dimension, I think. Oops. Okay, so 34. So right there. So looks like we need to be about here. Not quite. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. And I'll put water there first so I don't forget. Yeah, we'll stop right there. Okay, so let's get some more paths in here. Okay. Trade school path. There we go. All right, so I want this to have a 45-degree angle. So how do I go about getting that? Let's start by building at a 90-degree angle here. I might just demolish some of this. Whoops. I need my angle here. Okay, here we go. Let me move this over here and get a library. Not laboratories, library. There we go. That's what I want. And I think I need another path here. Okay. And like my library. Oh, I forgot. I need one more thing. Oh, that's too far. There we go. Make sure that that's square here. Turn off my guidelines. There we go. That looks about right. All right, so now Fit my library in here. And I'm supposed to have the study next to it. Whoops. Study hall. I need that road path. And media center. Media lab. There we go. There we go. All right, so now let's get that angle there, right? If I do 5 here, that gets me a nice 45 right there. And right there. Don't need these. All I need now. Turn on my guidelines. Should do the trick. Took me a long time to work that out. So, yeah, it looks pretty good though. All right, now let's put that study hall over here. And then we need some place for them to eat. Let's get a cafeteria here. And a commencement office. Right here fits. And book club. Starting to look like a university campus, right? Let's see if we have... Oh yeah, we've got a lot of student capacity here. Let's see what our capacity is. Now it's sort of weird. Okay, let's see, make sure we have all the water connected. We're missing one right here. Need to run a water line. So I've played a lot with the campus DLC. I actually rather like it. It's not the most realistic necessarily, but it is fun to play around with, and it does look good when you have a nice campus. But it's sort of strange. We have 1,332 students right now. But if we go to university over here, it says that there's 3,923 eligible. So about a third of the citizens apparently go to university, will go to a tech college, or at least this one, while the city actually has a whole lot more students than that. So it's a little weird that way. It takes a while to get used to all that, but you know, eventually it works out. All right, so I need to add a little more student capacity here, and a lot of times dormitories will do the trick here, although some of the other buildings will do it too. Let's see here. We can add our bookstore, because everybody loves to get ripped off on books when they go to school, right? Yeah. I graduated college a long time ago, and I'm telling you, it never ceases to amaze me how publishers will find a way to get your money, won't they? All right. Okay, I need to move this guy. Let's move him over here for the moment. Let's move all of these out of here. And build the paths. Show me. It's not going to show me that. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. No. Why does it do that? I don't know. Don't know. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Now we're talking. Let's not do that. There we go. Now I'm going to put those couple of these dorms over here. Okay, and that should take care of us pretty well. Let's see how many. Did we add any buildings there? I don't know if we did. Okay, I'm over the... No, I'm not. I'm not quite at capacity. Let's go ahead and add a fountain there. A statue, I mean. I don't know if a statue is going to add to my capacity or not. There we go. Let's get a few more dormitories built. Just stick one more here. Now we should have enough capacity. Yes. No. Yes. Okay, good. We're good. So that should last us for a little while. We'll have enough capacity there. Now, what we don't have is we don't have any fun in Puerto del Mar. So let's build a park over here in the Campos del Mar. Let's see what your questions are so far here. I'm glad you're drooling over the realistic grades that I am. Actually, let's go check on the rail line too in a second here. Are you making an American-styled city? Yes, I am. It's supposed to be somewhat like what we find on the west coast of the United States, like Los Angeles or San Diego, probably. More than anything, I like Campus DLC because it adds a personality to your city with a sports team and a dynamic flavor text, something that the game already greatly misses. Yeah, I have to agree with that. SimCity 4 had strikes. I never had any of those, but I always wondered what those were like. Advisors who'd yell at you for having bad roads and events. Yes, yeah, that was kind of cool. You know, but the only thing you really see in City Skylines are fireworks on certain days of the month or certain days of the week in at night in your city. So it's kind of weird. It's about the only thing. So let's make our city feel a little more alive here now with a park. So I'm going to do some crazy things here. I'm going to end up, it's nighttime anyway, so I'm going to end up closing Market Avenue here for a little bit. And I'm going to get a tram line out here. Now you can do this with the network extensions roads too. I'm going to use the tram line just because that's what all I've had. I actually went without using network extensions on this here. So, yeah. So let's see if I can get me a nice... That's not what I want. So basically what you want to do is the tram lines will allow the tram roads, the tram only roads, should allow me to get in the center of one of these things. Maybe I need to turn the grid off. No. I didn't want the grid on. Well, there's another way we can do this. Go to gravel roads. I can do 45-degree angle. there. I'm getting a save again. Tick tock, tick tock. Oh, looks like the sun's coming up. Good news. Alright, here we go again. I need anarchy here. Alright, there we go. Should give me something that's right up the middle here. Oh, that's not what I want either. Oh, this is not working for me, is it? All right, go back to the tram line here. That's not it. It's supposed to give me one off. I've done this a million times, and for whatever reason, it doesn't want to do it. Oh, it's not a tram road. That's part of the reason. All right. I should be able to get in the center. Oh, okay, you know, another way we could do this. That should have done it. Oh, well. You know what I can do? All right. Gravel road. Right there. Nope, that's not going to do it. I can't remember how to do this now. It figures I would have this, I would blank out here. So I'm trying to get a gate that's right in the middle here. I want a gate in the middle because if it's in the middle, then it will look right. But I can't get the staggered grid line that I thought I was going to get with the tram road because it's not acting the way it usually does. Well, this is going to really be a nice park with a cool line up the middle here. I don't know how I'm going to get it to go now. Any ideas? The pressure under the bright lights of live is always a little bit higher. I am not afraid to admit it. Oh, hey, here we go. I need to use a one-way tram track. It's the skinny one. Okay, now I'm going to get what I want out of this. Okay. All right. That's what I want. Now if I switch this back to a normal road, I get my staggered grid. That is exactly what I want. All right, so this is the way you do it if you're in vanilla. You can just use Move It. It would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? But I didn't feel like doing that. I wanted to show you guys another way to do it. So there you go. If you have the Snowfall DLC, you can do that with the tram line. Even if you're on console. And I made a mistake. Well, we can use Move It. Let's use Move It. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. And make it fit to the grid. And there, now I'm in the right spot. Okay. Put Market Avenue back in here before rush hour. Probably too late for that, right? All right. Let's go to parks here. Park. Okay. And we will build that right there. I want to have enough room so that I can fit in. Yeah, that should look good. I want to be able to fit one of these fountains in here without anarchy. That's not how I want it. I did that wrong. Now it should fit. Whoops. There we go. Except I forgot to put in a side gate here. So everybody's going to sneak in for free if they're not coming from Market Street. And if I make it so that it doesn't... Oh, no, it doesn't want to... Oops. There we go. That figures. Stop snapping. Doesn't want to stop snapping. I need a guide road right here. And then I can get it right where I want it. There we go. And let me put those gates in. Okay, now we'll have it. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Now let's do it over here. Except we don't need to go in the middle on this one. It'll look a little different. Oh, that one's too far away. All right, there we go. That should be enough to get that park to level up. Truncate this a little bit. If I can get it. There we go. All right. Put a couple more gates over here. Oh, hey, now we're recognized. Our school should hit the next level after that, so now we have a 2-star campus. We need another academic work, though, so let me show you how that works. With academic works and a campus here, what happens is you can fund academic staff by just moving the slider. It costs you a fortune to do that, but if you move it way over here to the right, your 20,000 a week will probably get you an academic work at the end of the year. But there's a way cheaper way to do it. You can go over here and let's see here. So I think that one's an artisanry, and that one's hospitality. So let's get an IT and engineering one. You can just offer a research grant, and the research grant pretty much guarantees that you're going to get a new academic work. So that's what we want, so that it will be a bit 4, because we probably are going to have enough students. We definitely have the attractiveness that we need to reach the next level, which is, I can't remember what it comes after recognized. As we progress, we can get some more policies and stuff like that too. So just wanted to show you that real quick, and then we'll move along. It seems like I should have another building right there. I can't remember which one it is. Oh well, we'll go back to that. All right, so let's see how our park looks. We do have enough to level up. Do we have enough to get people to go in? Yeah, we probably do. It's not as good of a shortcut as it could be. Now, what we could do is add a node right here. So that way, not use this mod a whole lot in a long time. It seems to want to change the name of the streets here. All right. And I need to be able to turn on a crosswalk here. I think I can do that. Oh, maybe not. Nope, looks like I can't do that. I probably don't have the right mod for that. Thought I had it. Either way, we'll just let that go and level up. We'll not worry about that right now. So let's get back to our rail system. Let's see how that's progressing. See if we're... Okay, it looks like the trucks are definitely using it, because we're getting some traffic going in there. Let's see. Hey, there's a train. That's what we want to see. And if we followed that train... Oh, hey, one more thing I forgot to do. Remember all that terrain sculpting that we did? If I hit Control Z, I can undo all of that, and it'll reset it back to the state it had before we did anything to it. Which is good, because in real life, they would have cut through in some of these places, like right here, and would have used it to fill in other places. You know, right there would be a cut. And over here might be a bit of a fill, so that you can level out the terrain in order to build a railroad track. We'll have to ride the train on one of these. Maybe this one will go out for us. I got a first-person mod installed. Ah, that's not ideal. But we can ride the train right up into the valley if we could see over this tanker car. Let's see if we can get a better view here. It's not looking like it. We'll have to wait for a passenger train when we get those running here. But we could ride that whole train out there. It'd be kind of cool to do. So one of the other things that we probably could do is expand this road out. We've got our neighborhood filled in. We're only up to 14,000 sims. We could probably use a bunch more. I'm thinking if we extended Laguna Boulevard out here, we could probably build up a little town called Laguna. Nice little railroad town. We could even build it without that if we had a way to get people in. So let's think about that for a minute here. So in order for that to happen, we really need to reconfigure the port again. I really want to build this rail line so that it comes through the port or around the port and over here to this train station. That would be ideal. I would love to just fill this all in with land, but I found out that there's basically a spring here. If we go, whoops, wrong one. If we go over here to our water controls, it looks like the map maker has placed a giant spot where water comes out of the ground right here, otherwise known as a spring in real life. So it looks like we're going to have a spring right there, and we're just going to have to build a bridge right across it to get over here, which makes it a little more complicated. Now, another thing I was thinking about doing is building another rail line that ran around the other side of town here. That would be complicated because if we look at our terrain lines here, we barely have enough room to fit it over here without running into the city itself. But it isn't outside the realm of possibility. It wouldn't be an easy possibility either because it looks like the terrain difference here is pretty severe. The elevation, so 92 there. So we'd probably have to build a whole other rail line up here on this plateau area to get that to go around. Yeah, we would. But that wouldn't be bad because then another place I want to run a rail line, besides getting over here to the shore, and this actually might solve one of my problems, we might just run industrial right here and have a line that runs up and around from the port. And, you know, or actually we don't even really need to do that. Yeah, that's what we need to do right here. Okay, so run freight along the shore here for the port. Have it connect over here on the other side of this valley over here, and have another rail line that runs along here to connect with it. And then what that will do is help us avoid spaghetti. We don't have to have as much spaghetti if we do that. And we could probably run passenger line out on this side too, which would allow us to pick up people from the port as well. And then the reason why I want to run over to this side of town is not only because I want to access this, I think that's oil right there. Nope, it's probably ore. It's probably ore, so I'd be able to mine that. I'd be able to get rail over here to this, or at least close enough that it wouldn't be as much of a bother. I can go right up this valley and into this one, and then follow this across the island and over here. I have pretty favorable terrain to be able to build a northern connection for my rail system too. It's really like the only other place I think I can realistically build rail. The other place I'd like to go is down here and connect to some of this. Probably build some farming industry up over here. I think that would be way easier, but it's all stuck on the port, or I have to build around this side of town. And I'm not really sure where I want to do that just yet, but I do need to expand my industry out here somehow. Maybe I'll just build the rail and we'll connect it up when we get the chance. Now, one of the other things that's really heartbreaking about this is that I'm going to separate my waterfront here with that rail line. So it actually sort of makes me want to build over here into this valley, because maybe I can avoid doing that. It's possible. Might even be likely. So, all right. So let's see what else we can do here to build this city up. We've got ourselves a rail line. Why don't we extend Laguna Boulevard out here, and we'll start building up the town of Laguna. Now, first off, I think Laguna is going to want to have a nice bit of waterfront here along this rail line. And in order to do that, I think what I'll do is build, first off, I'm going to build a road. And we're going to have a little room. Just going to build along the rail line here. That's a good start. And where would Laguna Boulevard come from? I think it would come up right through there along that rail line. So let's give that a wide berth. Autosave again. You could call the town Laguna Bella. Bella is pretty. Yeah, that might actually be a good name for it. I kind of like that. All right. I want to turn anarchy on so I can build across there. Okay, so Spanish is my native language if you need Spanish names. Hey, I might actually come to you for that, Frederick. Or, yeah, Frederick. I'm eating spaghetti right now. I hope that I won't have too much spaghetti, at least not until I build freeways. That lakeside real estate looks too nice to have a railway running past it. Yeah, I know. It's going to break my heart. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided. Nothing's permanent yet, and even if I do build it, that doesn't mean it has to stay permanent. Stay there. All right, so we've got a railroad crossing there. That's going to be pretty wacky. And I think that we'll have waterfront right here. How would we bring that in? Turn off my angle here. Okay. And now we'll go straight at the waterfront. And we'll go with different block size over here. It'll make it really easy to tell that this is a different city altogether, because the blocks will be a different size. And we're going to make it really crazy because this is pretty realistic for an American city to have just really weird stuff going on intersection-wise. I think the Europeans might actually appreciate that too. You know, it's just, they're like, oh, hey, cool, we could make some money here, so let's build a railroad and make some money. Okay, I have a problem with that one. It's because I didn't build it at the right angle. We'll make that one meet up a little neater. And build this road here through. Yeah, oftentimes when you do this kind of crazy stuff, you end up realizing, oh, that's why that town is built so weird. It's because they didn't think about that when they built it. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. That'll get us started anyway. Alright, so let's have a main street right here. It's going to be nice and wide. This road might actually not even end up going anywhere. I'm not going to put the trees there. I want visibility so that nobody gets hit by a train. Alright, so got our Broadway here. I love me some crazy intersections. I don't know about you guys. Creates all sorts of weird traffic problems that you have to solve later. I'll tell you that. And actually, we can build another railroad town after this. I probably should build a station, shouldn't I? Let's do that. Okay, so we need... you know what, actually? Yeah, I'm going to need that later. Alright, so let's build a passenger station right here. And that should fit nicely. So that's going to be freight going up there. And the town's on this side of the tracks. You know what? I'm just... Whoops. Not going to worry about that too much. So let's build the train station right here. Nah, that's actually not going to work. Let's build it right here. Okay. Build a connection there. And right there. Okay, so now we've got a... Oh, that's not probably going to be the best move here. Yeah, we'll deal with it later. That's my solution to everything. We'll solve it later. Alright, so we have way in... Let's build us a freight terminal here. I think we're going to want the freight terminal to be over here. For those of you who are unable to mod, you're probably jealous right now a little bit because you can't build those intersections I just built without anarchy. Alright, let me see my lines here. Okay, so I haven't gone up too hard on that there. Okay, so usually the passenger station was built on one side of the tracks and the freight station was built on the other side. In this case, I think I'm going to do that same thing. I just need to build a road to get over there on the other side of this rail line. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to build it over here. So as far as that, that's 8 units. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, cool. This'll work. Alright, and we'll build a freight terminal right here. This is probably going to create the worst traffic you can possibly imagine. I just want to let you know that I'm well aware of that. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay, so now we're going to connect into our markets over here by that terminal right there. All right, so now I need water and everything like that. I really need a road to run that water along. And we're just going to go with a nice dirt road. And we'll follow the rail line for the most part. Because that's honest, that's a lot of times that was how they built roads out west, is they just followed the railroad. Because they knew they could get there. They could get to that area pretty easily. Okay, hey, that's going to look really good. All right, so now I'm going to build a little curve here. Go around that bend. There we go. Now we're connected. Now let's build a water line. Always easier to go under a 2-lane road. Okay, now it should be a lot easier. Okay. Getting some water. That should do the trick right here. Yeah. There we go. All right, so now that area is watered. Oh, need a bit water on this side of the tracks. Okay, so let's put in some electricity. Got a lot of electricity, that's good. And build it off of the road a little bit here. start with building some commercial along here. Whoops. Okay. Let's do that. And I'm not going to run it. Yeah, we are going to run it right up to the railroad. Okay. I'm going to take away some of these here. Now let's build some residential in here. So I think under normal circumstances, this road would probably go into the railroad station. Yeah, I'm not going to be perfect about it. We'll build another road. We'll build another town down the road here, down the railroad, that will be a little more like that. Now, one of the problems I have is that this isn't the greatest connection to get over there. So let's go ahead and upgrade that to a national road. Do a two-way highway here. And this, of course, will have higher speeds, which will make it easy to get into Puerto del Mar. And all it has to offer. I get to give them a school out here. Elementary schools and high schools don't really care about noise, so we'll build that there. All right. And I could put a district in over there. We're going to call this Laguna Station right now. Since this is a lagoon, I'll put somewhere prettier. Will be Laguna Bella. I'll probably build a town over here too while we're at it. Let's see. We might be running low on time though. All right, so how is our park doing? We could probably get that to go up to the next level here. All right, so I'm going to show you something interesting that you may not have ever really thought of, or maybe you have and you just didn't think that much of it. But a lot of people, I've noticed, at least some of the old posts about this, there's a lot of confusion over whether props actually have anything to do with the entertainment value that our park life parks have. And I just want to show you that, yes, they absolutely do. So I'm going to build put some props up in here. First off, I want to have a cafe. We'll put a couple of cafes in here. Let me turn Lanarchy off here. Alright, so we've got a couple of cafes. Now I want to make it so that there's some place cool to eat, well, to sit next to here. Let's put in... yeah, let's put in a few flower beds. Now, the prop line tool is a really nifty prop. I'm going to put it in fence mode. Hopefully... Oh, you know what? Speaking of fences, I forgot to add a fence. Let's see here. Looks like I need to check on the chat window here in a minute. Forgot to fence this in. There we go. The posts on these make it really easy to get a nice perfect fence. Especially if you have a square park. When the park's not square, it's a little more difficult. Alright, so I've got those. Now I'm going to put some flower beds in. And by the way, remember we were just under 400. About, I think it was like 360 something. Now we're up to 370, and that's just from the fence. So let's add in those flower beds with the prop line tool. There we go. We'll use move it to... There we go. I don't want it to snap. And we'll copy that. Flip it. Give it some symmetry. Make sure it's straight. And then... let's just go straight up with this now. I have to turn this back into single because my brush is trying to use the brush for this, and I don't want to brush on a whole bunch of these props. Yeah, okay, that'll work. So all I'm doing is putting a few of these props in here. Now I want to set up a little sitting area, and I'm going to bring that out here. I think I'm going to use move it to get these into a better place here, and it'll let me copy these. There we go. Nope. So put a few copies in. Try to get the rocks to line up mostly. Copy again. And now I'll set up a few tables here. Just spin them around a little bit. Give them a rather random appearance. Very random appearance. throw a couple of copies here. Alright, so now I just added that area there and it's all props. So, where were we? About 370, now we're at 496. So just to give you an idea, yes, props make a big difference. So now we've just added that beautiful little area, and all we did was add a couple of these buildings and, you know, a nice little area to sit and eat from the cafe. A little bit bigger than the part right next to it. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we'll let that build up and see how things are going over here at Laguna Station. Don't know that we're getting a lot of intercity trains. Now, one of the things we have to watch out for when we place these things by ourselves is that sometimes they aren't exactly good at spawning trains the way they're supposed to. It looks like this one's working though, so that's good. Oh, hey, and it looks like we've got a whole lot of people moving in over here at Laguna Station, so that's really cool. Oh, there's a passenger train now. I don't know how many passengers they're getting. Not very many. It's not a very popular destination, apparently. Let's see if we have a train we can ride in. Looks like I might have missed a section of road. There we go. Oh, well, we've got a bunch of people waiting for a train. That's cool. So people are coming in, but they're not leaving. So we don't have a lot of outside tourism. Well, people leaving to go be tourists anyway. And it looks like that train is probably going to... It already looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So let's see if we can follow this train into Laguna Station. Oh, I guess not. It's spawning another one. Here we go. And as you can see, it's a nice, beautiful, straight grade. I hope you guys are impressed. This is how you do it, though. Just use those mods. It's really useful. It helps a lot. You can do it without mods. I'm going to show a little bit of that in More Money, Less Traffic. I think we're going to get into that part 7 or 8, somewhere in there, because I have to put freight transportation into that city, into Settlagi. It's really going to need it. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with a terrible, terrible problem with the traffic. All right, so let's see if I can get an idea of what's going on in the chat area while we watch the train. Okay. Now, I wish I could use my mouse, but unfortunately, YouTube didn't make that very easy to pull off. So let's see here. That's a passenger terminal. I'm going to go sleep. Bye, guys. Take care, scared hamster. Hopefully we didn't scare you away. All right, so let's see here. Was thinking the same thing, not going to get much goods from that. Maybe the illegal kind. I don't know about that. The other town is put into a park district ahead of a regular one. FYI. Parks are a bit weird in a way. When the shortest way to walk somewhere goes to a park, then pedestrians will walk that way no matter how much the entrance costs. Yeah, that's true. I've noticed that, and actually we're going to talk about that in part 5 of More Money, Less Traffic, so keep your eyes out for that. I've got that pretty well scripted, and I've got a lot of it done. Hopefully it'll be done soon. I've got a lot of other videos I'm working on at the same time, though, too, so good stuff for you guys. Imagining buying a $40 zoo ticket every time you walk to work. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. But that's what this game does, doesn't it? David says, oh god, I wish they had better prop placement in the base game. Yeah, I do too. Good to know that props do something. Looks like I won't have to put 20 public restrooms in the park to reach 5 stars. Yeah, there's something else we're going to talk about with that when we use multiples of the same thing. So we'll talk about that in More Money, Less Traffic Part 5. Let's see here. San Rafael would be a good name for a coastal town because that's the saint for fishing for the Catholics. Alrighty then. Cool. So, yeah. We're bringing in more residents to Laguna Station. We're probably going to change the name of that. We'll give it something that sounds a little better than that, but for right now we'll call it Laguna Station. It's too bad we don't have a rendering of tunnels. Tunnel interiors are basically exteriors of the mountain. But this looks pretty cool. Come right into the lagoon. Cross it. I don't know, maybe that is a prettier location than I realized. That's actually pretty cool. Laguna Station, folks. Let's see how many people... Oh, looks like I did that wrong. I did use a park area, didn't I? Now I understand what that comment was about. I did that all wrong. Let me redo that. Because I don't want that to be a park. I want that to be a district. And we got 730 Sims. We got more workers than households in there so far. Hopefully that will change over time. I'm going to fill in some more of this so Sims will move in. It's going to be noisy to live next to the railroad tracks, but that's where we're going to put people. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. We'll have to put a park over there at some point. Let's take a look at traffic and see how that's working. Looks pretty good. 86%. I can definitely be cool with that. We've got a lot of traffic on this road here, probably because it's ever so slightly shorter way to get to the industrial area. But we really don't have traffic problems here in this city, or it's a little suburb over here. So I had hoped that we could build more of the railroad, but it looks like we're going to have to push that off till next time. Looks like the sun's about to go down too here, so I'll give you a nice view of Puerto del Mar. We did accomplish our goal of building a park. We haven't leveled it up completely yet, but we did get a nice trade school campus started, and we built another little town out there on the lagoon. So we extended a road, built the rail line out to the edge of town. What would you guys like to see next time? I'd really love it if you could leave that in the comments section. That would really, really help me get an idea of what kind of things you'd like to see. I'm going to look through the chat window here and one last time and see if there's anything else that we've got here. And I'm going to try to figure out how to do that without moving the mouse. So I'll give you a nice, guys, little view to take a look at here. Let's see here. Let's see if I think I missed a spot in the middle here. We got the public transportation conversation. Volume. Okay, I think a huge issue in the game with trains is that if you play the game normally, you end up having to build the rail around the city rather than the city around the rail. That is very true. So that is one of the reasons why I'm trying to build the rail first, because if you look at American history, and even sometimes in European cities, you'll notice that, I mean, there are some exceptions. Some of the capital cities like Paris, London, etc., some of those cities were huge no matter what. They put rail in and then just exploded and got even bigger. And that's really what happened everywhere that the railroad came through. I know there's a city in the county I grew up in just to the west of here. I grew up in Lorain County, just west of Cleveland, which is in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. And the city of Elyria is the county seat there. And so if you look at a map and you see how it's spelled, you know how to say it now. It's Elyria. Kind of a weird name. Nobody knows how to say it in the national press. I know that. But in Elyria, there was always a lot of business because of it being the county seat. And it also was the first place where the railroads went. Well, then they finally extended it north up to the lakefront into the city of Lorain. And Lorain went from being a small little village town to being a gigantic city that just absolutely dwarfed the size of Elyria at the time. And it was, I think, like the 10th largest city in Ohio, which, by today's standards, there aren't that many big Ohio cities anymore. But for the time, that was pretty remarkable. And then, they look at the Western Reserve in general, which is Northeast Ohio, basically. The capital of the Western Reserve was platted to be Cleveland. Cleveland was the plan. It was named after the head of the surveying team that actually founded Cleveland, Moses Cleveland. Now, what was cool about this is that it was right on the lakefront, right at the mouth of the Cuyahoga River, but nobody went to Lake Erie. Nobody used Lake Erie to get to the Western Reserve. Nobody took that way to get to Ohio because you had Niagara Falls, preventing anybody from going up Ontario and on up into Lake Erie until they built the Welland Canal. And the other way they could do it is they could go up the Hudson River and take the Erie Canal. But those weren't built until I think the 1820s or 30s. That was the age of canals. And so Cleveland and the city of Akron got a little bigger, but for the longest time, Warren was actually the biggest city in Northeast Ohio in the Western Reserve because it had a road that came from Pittsburgh. Or I think it was Fort Duquesne originally. But Pittsburgh was already a pretty decent-sized town at the three rivers, where the three rivers meet, Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio. And people would take a road into Warren to get into the Western Reserve, and then they would go find their land and settle. Well, Cleveland, what made it really grow into being, for a while there, it was the largest city in Ohio, was the railroad. And the canal helped. It connected it to the Ohio River via Lake Erie and everything. So Cleveland and Akron, though, just exploded once they had access to the coal in West Virginia. They already had access to the iron ore around the Great Lakes, especially around Lake Michigan, Lake Superior. When they were able to do that, then it actually facilitated bringing in coal and ore to make steel. So there were a lot of steel mills, a lot of auto plants that built up. The auto plants needed tires. They made tires in Akron, and it all got shipped by rail. So it all exploded because of the railroad. That's the story that you're going to see across all of the United States, all across the world probably, is that once the railroad came, then things got busy. So we're going to have that same thing happen here in Puerto del Mar. And so hopefully you'll come around next time and we'll really explode the size of the city because hopefully we'll have some rail lines built. We're going to work on that, definitely. Work on the rail, think of ways to improve the port, and hopefully not create too much spaghetti in the process. So anyway, if you have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the comment section. Definitely give me a like here on this stream. I really appreciate you guys spending the time with me today. I hope you'll come around next time. I'm thinking about adding Monday or Tuesday. I think Monday would probably work. Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And if there's anybody out there in the U.S., basically in North America or in South America for that matter, who would be interested in doing an evening live stream, please let me know. I could probably find a day to put that in there too and make it so that you guys can have an opportunity to see it live and ask questions. But for all I know, you guys all have evening jobs anyway. I have no idea. So whatever you guys want to do, just let me know. I'm always open for suggestions. So please let me know what you'd like to see next week. And so long. Take care.